Hey everybody, Ranch here, bringing you all another StarCraft commentary, this time with HD visuals! Not really though. I have Kenny casting alongside me. We're doing this entire thing, we're going all the way, we're not stopping until everybody's dead. A little George Carlin humor thing there. So, 3-2 for SKT1, and now KTF are being forced to send out one of the Broodling twins. Luxury, aka Practice. I think Luxury is cooler though. That's just me. So we're gonna have a friggin' awesome TVZ here for you guys. This is going to be insane. If Fantasy managed to take out Luxury, he's gonna win this 4-2 for SKT1 and get them forward. 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Go, 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 go. I'm not gonna start with go, go. I'm not. So it's going to be on Neo Harmony. We're going to have at the upper left, 11 o'clock, we're going to have Fantasy in light blue, bluey, aqua thingy stuff. At the upper right, at 1 o'clock, we're going to have the Luxury as a Zerg, of course, in green. Beautiful little slimy green. You gotta love those colors. So, Fantasy now with a wonderful chance to take this game and bring SKT1 the victory. Well, they're going to face, so that they can face off against Hwasung Oz in the next game next week, and this is going to be a slightly pressured position for Luxury, but if there's anybody who can win this game and get Luxury to an ace, get them to a last game, it will be Luxury.
Yeah, Luxury, man, is a pretty pimp-ass player, I gotta say. Neo Harmony, again, like you said, is the map. It's a 4-player map, pretty interesting map altogether. And again, I don't know the statistics on it, but I think it should be interesting, especially since the players are spawning in relatively close positions. So that should change their strategies maybe a little bit as the game does go on. Fantasy taking 2 wins from KTF, which is pretty impressive considering the fashion he did. He basically, I think they took out Flash thinking, okay, here's our secret weapon, we're going to go ahead and get rid of Fantasy and just roll over these guys, but Fantasy said no to that and proxy barracks Flash and just ended him in like about a 4-minute game. So really impressive fashion there for Fantasy, and yeah, I guess I really couldn't say who I think is going to win this game. I think they're both magnificent players. I think they both have equal amount of chance. I think the map is nice for both players, so really it's going to just come down to the raw mechanics of the game, which both these players have a lot of. So that would be my guesstimate about what's going on in this game, Ranchin.
Yeah, Luxury, why do I keep saying yeah as if I'm like acknowledging everything? Weird. I do these weird things. People love me for it. No gas for Fantasy, so assuming this time he's probably not going to try to repeat the build, or no, just scouting, not really around. Luxury getting a hatchery first, I think it was, and spawning pool and gas right after. They're going to spot correctly with an Overlord, going to see where Fantasy is, not going to go for a drone scout, just going to need the Overlord, nothing else. Fantasy has that first barracks producing some Marines, and not even adding gas, so it is indeed going to be some sort of Marine heavy build, and I think Luxury might be going into his kind of patented, well not really patented, but the kind of build he feels most comfortable with. That's going for a 12 hatch into spawning pool with gas and getting another hatchery inside of his base, and then just getting Mutalisks out there. And that is something he's just so good with. It's insane. His Mutalisk micro is just right up there. I've seen him do things with Mutalisks that are just insane. You know, Fantasy apparently going for the expansion, barracks into CC on the natural, so he's trying to try to get an economic advantage early on, and if he's pretty successful, it could really help him out to try to get an economic advantage over Luxury, because Luxury is going to go around and do some face stomping with Mutas soon enough. Also putting down a bunker, because he knows those Zergers are going to be coming towards his base, so he wants to defend as best as he can, make sure that Luxury doesn't do an early penetration, and, you know, gets any sort of economic advantage. Also trying to, of course, prevent the scout. All that's not going to happen. That is going to happen, I mean, with that Overlord flying away to those Marines. Lair now coming up for Luxury, and I expect the other hatchery very soon. Gas and second barracks being on the other side for Fantasy. So getting his scout inside, spotting that lair, definitely knows he should be expecting Mutalisks from Luxury at this point. Going to keep their SCV alive as long as humanly possible. So this is just going to move on into rather standard builds, I believe, for both players. And just, I think this is going to come down to who does what kind of harassment. If Fantasy gets to hold these bases, I think he's going to take a little bit of economic advantage. But if Luxury is successful with his Mutalisks, he could move on and push in and possibly take the game and move KTF into a slightly more comfortable position where SKT1 could be forced to pull best into the fray, that is.
Yeah, that's correct. Really, I think both players just playing very, very standard so far. Not a whole lot to say about diversions of builds. We do see right now that Luxury is opting to go for the Mutalisk, which is pretty interesting. I don't think I saw a third hatchery. Maybe there's one and I just missed it, which would mean he's going 2-hatch Mutas, which is pretty, I mean, I guess it's common in some sorts of fashion. Really, 2-hatch Mutas is kind of a risky strategy in my opinion, but can pay off, especially with a Terran who's doing early expansion. You just got to really capitalize on that. And as you can see, he's actually going to take a third Ninja hatchery in the bottom right-hand corner, so very interesting choice there. And I got to say, if he pulls that off, that'd be really nice. It's very far away from Fantasy's base, so Fantasy has to go a long distance to get rid of that, and that'll play out nicely for Luxury. So far, good play out of him thus far, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Now a small group moving out for Fantasies, so Luxury's going to be forced to probably have to throw down at least one more sunken, or he could be in some trouble. His mutas are on the way though, so if he can get some good muta harassment going, he'll be fine. Now he scans and sees there's only one sunken, but there is some lings, so he's going to go ahead and back up. And Luxury playing very smart so far. He didn't throw down any more sunkens, he wasn't tricked, but like a lot of Zergs are, and throw down two, maybe 3 sunkens total, which if you do it mathematically, I mean, you're losing 150 minerals as well as you're losing that mineral production, so that's a big deal to be able to read your opponent like that and take that risk, I guess, really, because if he had attacked, that could have been quite bad for him. And now the Mutalisks are out. Here we go, Ranchin, that Mutalist micro that you were talking about.
This Mutalist micro that I love so much. Fantasy is building some turrets there. I'm not quite sure if they're in time. I saw only like a couple of turrets. Mutalist not going to move in, unfortunately, right into the medic marine group, so he's going to be forced to back off at least a little bit. He has some Zerglings alongside, so he could be going for a 2-pronged attack. Try to force those Zerglings, try to take one turret only there to defend. He's now going to move in a little bit backwards by those Mutalisks. There are now, at this point, I think enough turrets inside the main to defend. We're going to see what Luxury goes for. Now I'm going to go in and backwards. Going to go and take out this SCV to start off with. You're going to see whether he actually tries to go for some proper harassment or not. The medic marines are controlled pretty well by Fantasy. On the other side, Luxury also getting an Evo chamber, and Fantasy adding another barracks, so he's going to try to get as many M&Ms as he has plenty of turrets, so Luxury is going to have to do something very nifty if he actually wants to be successful with these Mutalisks, because he's taking a lot of damage. Now going to fly right into the position, going to prevent the third turret from going off, at least, if nothing else. Going to attack here, going to see what it goes for. There are some Marines there alongside those turrets, and now Fantasy moving all of his Marines backwards, and oh man, losing some Mutalisks to their Luxury. Not very good harassment there for him. Tried to move some Zerglings to try to support his Mutalisks in the air, but that just not work out for him very well. We're going to see what he goes for. He has that Hydra Stin going as well, so he could be tech switching into Mutalisks, but I think he would need to do some more economic harassment if he's actually thinking of teching, because I think Fantasy would be fairly comfortable to counter any lurkers that could be coming his way.
Yeah, actually tech switched into lurkers, not mutas, as he already has mutas, just for in case any of you are wondering and hadn't figured out that he has mutas out on the map. And now it looks like Fantasy is just going to say, screw it, I'm going for his main before lurkers get out, and this actually could be very effective if he gets there in time. Now Luxury understanding that he needs to get sunkens down, he has to defend this, get his lurkers out in time, and here goes Fantasy now, taking out yet another muta. He has enough medics and marines, I think, to be able to defend against those mutas, even with some nice micro. Throwing up more turrets at his natural, which is pretty common. He wants to prevent any more harassment from going on at his natural expansion. And the lurkers are coming up now, which is a marine's worst enemy, in my eyes. Basically, marines are torn apart by lurkers, so I'm sure you all knew that as well. A lot of lurkers actually on the way, and upgrades starting now. And that bottom right expansion really could mean a lot in the whole aspect of this game if it's not caught. I don't know if Fantasy knows about that yet. He is moving down there right now, so I'm assuming it got scanned. As you can see, the forces wouldn't just be randomly moving down to the bottom right. Now a counterattack is coming in for Luxury, so I think he does know about this, and that's why Luxury is somewhat panicking here and trying to throw up some Sunkens in an attempt to save this hatchery, which really could have meant a lot if he's able to keep it alive.